Once there was an explorer called Captain Wacko. He was a very silly person. Now, Captain Wacko had come up with a wonderfully silly idea. Captain Wacko decided to take his best friend Silly Billy on his trip. Now, they began their silly expedition by hopping all the way to the Tickly Nose Ranges while rubbing their heads at the same time. Along the road they met a kangaroo who thought they were very silly. Now Sneezy Weezy Mountain is the 68th highest mountain in the Tickly Nose Ranges, and Captain Wacko had a plan. And that's exactly what they did. They sneezed non-stop for 14.5 hours till they reached the very top. Finally, the two adventurers had to face their greatest challenge. 5 weeks, 4 days and 13 hours later, Captain Wacko and Silly Billy finished their silly expedition. By now they were feeling a bit dizzy. So Mayor Silly Sausage, Captain Wacko and Silly Billy had a wonderful time laughing and doing silly walks until they all fell over. And that's the end of a very silly story. Come on guys, let's go sing ourselves silly with a song. This is a very hairy story. It's about a bunch of amazing people called the Hairykins. The Hairykins loved everything to be hairy, even the grass in their garden. Yes, they were very happy Hairykins. Well, mostly. You see, there was one person who wasn't feeling quite so happy. Harry Hairy was the youngest in the family, but unlike the other Hairykins, he had
short hair.
Harry had tried and tried to make his hair grow longer. But nothing worked. So Harry brushed his hair with the hairy tree branch every morning. But Harry's hair stayed short. It didn't grow an inch. So he went to his mum for a bit of Hairykin advice. Harry followed his mum's advice. Every day he ate bowls and bowls of hairy spaghetti. Then one night, just before he went to bed, Harry checked to see how much his hair had grown. The next morning, Harry's hairy sister Hannah bounced in to wake him up. Harry's crazy hairdo was a real hit with all the Hairykins. Oh, and soon everybody was wearing a Harry hairdo. And that's the long and the short of it. Well, time to cut this off now and do a little more dancing. Come on, you hairy bunch. Once upon a time, there was a professor. The professor was reading a book about some people who lived a long, long time ago. They were called the Yuck Yuck people. Hey, Professor, what's so funny? Just then, the professor's friend, Dr. Stumbles, bumbled in. So the professor and Dr. Stumbles set off, looking for things that would tell them why the Yuck Yucks were so funny. Before long, the professor made a brilliant discovery. The professor and Dr. Stumbles crept inside the cave and hunted for clues. The professor looked very closely at the skeleton's elbow bone. I love a story that makes me laugh. And you know what else I love?
A song!
Yeah! Once there was a family called the Dibbles, and there was one thing they could never do. They could never make up their minds about anything. Now, the latest arrival to the Dithering Dibble house was a beautiful baby boy. Good, a decision, finally. At least someone was making a decision in the Dibble family. Oh no, here we go again. They'll never decide on a name in time. The Dibbles had a big problem. They had a wonderful baby, but they couldn't decide on a name. Oh dear. On the day of the naming party, they still hadn't found a name for the baby. Finally, they named the baby. Daryl, Donald, Derek, Dexter, David, Dougal, Dibble. Wow. Hey, I've just decided something. Let's go over there for a song. Easy!